Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Mochen Le'Ra online smicha. Now that we're coming actually to the end of the fulfilling of the mitzvah of Sefiras haomer, which is a very unique mitzvah that we do for over a long period of time, and every day is another mitzvah, and that's why we make an extra bracha, a new bracha every single day. I'd like to discuss a couple of tidbits, a couple of interesting chidushim. I mean, obviously the mitzvah of Sefiras haomer is rich with poiskim, rishonim, achrayim, based on the Gemara Menachos, and the concept of Sefira, the concept of Ketziras haomer. But just a few points, just to enhance it, that people maybe didn't know. And we all know that the Sefiras haomer is also, as the Arizal says, that the time between Pesach, Pesach and Shavuos. Pesach is the first days of Yontif, Shavuos is the last days of Yontif, and everything in between is like Chalamoid. We're so anxious, we're so anxious to get to Shavuos to Matan Torah. So here are a couple of points that Achrayim bring out. Point number one they bring out is why is it set up that when we count the days of the Omer, we're counting how many days have passed? Because if we are so anxious to the day of Matan Torah, why don't we count how many days left? Oh boy, I have 20 more days left, 19 more days. It's the finish line that we're excited to get to. So this is a question some contemporary Svarim discuss, and one of the beautiful answers which I saw being brought, and actually the Chinuch, mitzvah Shin Vav, discusses a similar shaila, is mitzvah svira. When you count, you have to count on something tangible, something you have in your hands. In other words, a day passed, I accomplished something, I'm a step closer, so I could say thank you that what has passed is already within me, I have it. So for that I could count. What's going to be in the future, how much is left, it's still a future item. And a future item, because it's not yet tangible by you, some say you cannot really consider that a real counting. Now, how often do we count? The Chazal tell us we count every day, but we have to count not only the days, you have to count the Shabbosim also, the weeks. How many weeks it is. You know that Sheva Shabbos is Tmimis Tiyana. You have to identify what week it is and what day of the week it is, what number. It's interesting to quote that Rav Naturoi Goin says, mitzvah l'mimna yomi u mitzvah l'mimna shavui. You have to count the days and you have to count the week. Bein chayil, bein b'Shabbos. You have to do it every single day. Even on Shabbos, you have to fulfill the mitzvah. And why? Because it says, ha'amrinon, because Chazal tell us, cheshbonos shel mitzvah, mutar l'chashvan b'Shabbos. Stam accounting on Shabbos, you're not allowed to do. But a cheshbon shel mitzvah, measuring, accounting that has to do with a mitzvah, you're allowed to do on Shabbos. So in other words, how they understand this topic, the conversation, is saying, l'cha'era, if not for the fact that Sefiras haomer was a mitzvah, maybe we wouldn't be able to count it. Only because the Torah says it's a mitzvah, that's why you're able to count it. And everybody just quotes this, and they're really shocked. How could you even say that it should be oil al das, that despite the Torah saying, Usvartem alachem, you still, because it's Shabbos overrides it. We know the things that the Torah want to be done even in Shabbos, it's an obvious statement. So one of the answers I saw explaining this is also a Geshmak of art. He says that there really is a way how you could fulfill the Sheva Shabbos Tamimos and yet not count on Shabbos. Because it's brought in the name of Rav Hai Goin, an opinion that says if somebody missed one day of Sefiras haomer and he's already at the next day, one of the ways to make it up is to say, if you're today Monday, and you're saying, and you missed the third day. Yesterday you missed the third day. So today on Monday, when you're saying the Sefiras haomer, you say, Etmol, yesterday was the third, and today was the fourth. And by doing that, you could fix up whatever mistake you made, whatever you missed. So you would have thought that the power of Shabbos, the Kedushas of Shabbos, which you're not allowed to do a typical counting, will push that away. And every Matzah Shabbos, you just make up the Friday night Sefira by doing that. And yet the halach is, it's a counting of a mitzvah, you don't even have to do that. Another interesting point about the Sefiras haomer is that the Torah, we know what the Chazal tell us, that when the Torah says, Tispru Chabeshim Yoim, count 50 days or count 49 days. So how do we solve that problem? We solve that problem by counting 49 and the 50th is Yom Tov. Well, I did see in the Sefer Zecher David that he brings Mefarshim that say a beautiful pshat. Really, we are counting 50 because we're counting Shavuos also. But the Sefira of Shavuos is not with Asher Kidshana b'mitzvaysa v'tzivanu al Sefiras haomer. The Sefira of Shavuos is when we make Kiddush. Every other day, unless you make a number, you say out Hayom Yom, you can't see that it's part of the number. But you're standing on Shavuos night, you're making Kiddush, you are fulfilling the 50th Sefira of Sefiras haomer by making Kiddush.